In this video for the Beacon Hill Dollhouse construction, I'm going to go over section Z, interior trim. This is the last section of the kit instructions, which includes the interior door trim and fireplaces. Oddly enough, this does not mention the interior doors themselves, which are part of the kit. First, the pieces are removed and prepared. I laid out the door trim pieces over masking tape before any painting began. This helps to handle the pieces during the painting process. These were primed and painted in semi-gloss white, and I did not install these pieces until the interior wall treatments were completed. In addition, the fireplace pieces were removed and prepared. For the fireplace mantles, I decided these would be stained. Before staining, I filled all the gaps with wood filler. When the filler was dry, I did a light sanding and they were stained polyurethane and then followed up with a light sanding to take off some of the gloss. The pieces of the fireplace were primed, the interior and hearth were painted flat black, and the remaining pieces were painted in semi-gloss white. I followed the instructions to pre-assemble the fireplace. Keeping the interior pieces stable while the glue was drying was the only tricky part. This was mostly accomplished with masking tape. I used a right angle rig to help keep the assembly square when attaching the sides. Then used a quick grip when completing the assembly with the mantle. As a final detail, I took some of the discarded pieces from the staircase to add a decorative detail to the sides of the fireplace. For the doors, I carefully determined which door should be used in the openings of the house and dry fitted beforehand. At which time, I decided which direction the door should swing for that opening. I then attached 3 hinges on the side of the door that I wanted to swing. I knew I wanted to add some detail to the doors and experimented with various treatments before deciding to use coffee stirs as a panel effect on the surface of the door. I spray painted the coffee stirs, which provided a finer finish, and I went with a simple framing scheme that used a single width trim on the perimeter of the door and double width horizontal trim just above the center length of the door. The trim also helped to hide the hinges. Doorknobs were attached on the outside trim edge next to the center mullion trim. The doors were installed as the wall treatment was completed on a particular room. First, the door hinges were super glued to the wall, and I used a thin piece of plastic to position the door while the glue was drying. This helped to provide some clearance for the door to swing without hitting the floor. The door frame was then installed around the door. I matched up the pieces of the door frame to best fit each door. I found that the widths of the pieces tended to vary, so I wanted the trim to look as consistent as possible using the pieces that came with the kit. I also made sure that the door would properly swing before finally gluing the piece to the wall. The process was repeated for all the doors around the house. Once the wall treatment was ready on the second floor bedroom, the fireplace was installed. Once the wall treatment was ready in the living room, the first floor fireplace was installed. Both were electrified to provide a glowing fire. I will discuss the electrical in another video. Thanks for watching.